In 2011, the Telecommunications Authority of Trinidad and Tobago issued a request for proposals called the ICTs for Rural Communities Development Project.
This came about because most ICT use is centered in urban communities. So with the further development of ICTs and the provision of ICT services, if they are continued to be provided in urban communities, this could mean that rural communities would be left further and further behind.
This project was an initiative of the authority to celebrate World Telecommunication and Information Society Day. Gift for Life's project was the provision of computer equipment and internet access to 5 children's homes, one of which is Kisto House, located in Arima.
We realize that many of these children homes, many of these children underprivileged communities, they don't have access to ICT facilities.
We were surprised when Gift for Life Foundation came to visit us. They bought the CPU for the computer, then the monitor, and then stuff. So it was a bit surprising for me because we weren't expecting it. After introducing the rules to the kids of don't eat, don't touch and stuff like that, we needed to get a tutor to start coming in and teach the kids how to use the computer. And by Gift for Life supplying the computers, we were able to apply to Flow. We received free internet. So what the tutors and them were doing was involving the kids in the area with our kids to come in and do their homework and assist them with it. What we realized is that the system was not only benefiting the kids at the Margaret Kisto home, it also benefited the children within the community.
So on the 14th of January, Gift for Life Foundation did a start turning ceremony to begin the building of a tuition center in Charleville. The purpose of the Education Development Center is to assist these underprivileged children, especially through ICT. The long-term vision of this Education Development Center is to provide children in rural communities as well as children who reside at homes with the ICT tools that will help them in their personal growth and development.
Habitat for Humanity worked alongside the Cashew Gardens residents to construct a building to be used as a homework center for the children in the area. This project also extended to the provision of computer equipment and training.
We entered into a partnership to build a 20 by 20 center in its initial phase. While in those negotiations, we saw the call for proposals through TATT, and we thought it was an ideal marriage to get ICT into the community, and it was something that we know the community wanted.
So when Habitat called us and told us about this project, we got excited and we asked them, yes, apply for us.
Fortunate for us, we were successful. We received 5 computers, a printer, and internet connection for them.
When we got the computers, we had training with the children through the Inova Solutions company. We had 45 people or so as a part of the official training. They got certified. And then as a spin-off to that, a further 75 or so was actually helped. We've been seeing growth in them when they come to the center on a continuous basis. Now they're able to type letters and, manipulate the mouse a little better and do a lot more with the computer per se. So those who did computer literacy at school were able to use here as a learning point in order to get, various persons came to us after and said, I pass. I was successful in CXC because they were able to train at computer literacy here. And of course, we know that would eventually spill off into getting employment. So I think that is a success for us.
My kids attend the homework center in Cashew Gardens. They go there to do lessons, and it has helped them tremendously. They learn a lot from using the computer. Actually, they even help me to learn too. I have seen a great change in them and improvement in their academical work. Right? And also the principal, she even commended me on their improvement.
Stephen Edwards Productions aim to transform the lives of high-risk teenagers through the use of theatre and technology.
A long time ago, when I did theatre, I started off in church actually. There was a young man who was a part of the group, And the group went on a hiatus for a while. And while we were on hiatus, at 17 years old, they called him out and they shot him in his head. And that is basically the genesis of transformation through theatre and technology. We use theatre and technology as an inspirational, rehabilitational, and entertainment tool. We did a lot with the equipment. One of the things that we invested in was a video camera. And in addition to showing young persons how to do a little bit of photography and videography, we were able to do a small mini documentary based upon some of the work that we do. We won another competition in another project. Why the Fox Left Trinidad is an animated pilot that we are doing right now, and we have used some of the equipment to do the live footage on that. The most remarkable thing, I can give you a story of a young man that I carried to a training, and he left the training early. And I texted him and I said, be good, do good, choose good. And the Tuesday after, he called me and he said, sir, thanks for the text. And I said, what happened? He said, my cousin now called me to go and kill a man, and I didn't go. And that in itself is a real testimony of the type of work that we do. We've been recently granted Youth Worker of the Year award from the Commonwealth. We're one of the finalists of the Caribbean region. So that's a huge honor for our organization. We have just been entered into the Toronto Fringe Festival. We are the first theatre company from the Caribbean to do so, and that's the biggest theatre festival in Canada. So the sky's the limit as far as we're concerned. I love doing work in Trinidad and Tobago, but right now we are developing transformation through theatre and technology with the University of Ottawa to be a social intervention module.
The Deaf Empowerment Organization of Trinidad and Tobago submitted their proposal for funding to produce a deaf news program for the benefit of deaf and hearing impaired persons who use the internet.
The idea of Deaf News came about was for a group of volunteers to work to create Deaf News with a signed summary of what would happen for the week. We would read the newspapers and get more people to understand what's happening in our country. When we had the state of emergency, it was a last-minute announcement, and some deaf people were almost arrested because they didn't realize what was going on. So that was important for deaf people to know, like a hurricane is coming, any new things happening with in the roads, changes in traffic laws, things with security in the country. The first day we put it up, there were about 40 views and more the first day that we put it up, and more people got interested after that. And then we saw persons from different countries keeping up with it, and even 3 years later people still look at it. We received 2 laptops, a monitor, printer, video camera, and a projector, and we used them for our Deaf News project. We used them for our deaf medical program, for many deaf events that we have, many programs that we go to, we use it to keep record. And then we put most of those things on YouTube and Facebook for deaf people to be aware of what is happening in the deaf community. We were able to make a deaf medical website. We got some sponsorship from the US Embassy, and the reason we created this particular website was because that sometimes deaf people go to the doctor and they say that you have this particular disease, and that people would say, well, okay, I don't know what it is, but they could use this particular website to get more information because everything is in sign language. In the future, we want to do more about editing, learn some more technology, and we would like maybe to learn more as well as to, how to use the technology that we did receive from Telecommunications Authority properly. Perhaps we may use it as well for deaf education programs.
The small community of Brasov Anaru, located in the Tabaki-Talparo area, had no access to specific commercial telecommunications until the Trinidad and Tobago Amateur Radio League stepped in.
Over the years, we had something called monkey mail, especially through the school. Everything we got used to be late, and we always late on correspondence and meetings.
There was no internet, whether wired or wireless, no telephones, wired or wireless.
One Sunday morning, Mr. Drakes and Mr. Green, they told me what they were about. They wanted to put the internet for us in the school and the area.
We sought to look at bringing in internet to this community via a wireless means or via radio. Once we were able to convince them that it was, one, technically feasible, and secondly, that we had the capacity internally to execute it, the Telecoms Authority then purchased the equipment that was required for the execution and delivered it to the TTRL for us to go ahead and install.
Now with this internet here today, we have everything on time, and with the CAC in progress, every single sheet of paper that we get from outside, from the Ministry of Education, from the office in Couva, everything is on time. The villagers come out here, they do their little projects, the students at the Tabaki Composite School and other schools, and everybody do their projects, and it is very successful.
Before, it was basically having to travel an hour from here to get to Shogunas to be able to access internet. Because BUE is mostly an online thing, we have to rely on the internet a lot. So we'll have to go to Shogunas, but now we have the convenience of having it right here in school.
I have used it in many ways. First of all, in like showing the children videos of certain things that we do in class. Also, I use a kind of interactive process where I go online to different sites where they have interactive programs, so that the children can actually take part in doing activities that we normally do in class, but it kind of makes it more fun and interesting for them.
Over in our sister Isle of Tobago, the Boville Cancer Diabetes Foundation is on a major drive to expand the range and reach of an existing structured community diabetes education program.
BCDF was able to use the screen for public benefit, and we are at Market Square from 6 a.m. and every morning we go there, we have blood sugar testing on the morning. You get some diabetes education, and as you can see, the screen is used with a computer-based projection. We got 2 computers from TATT and the LCD projector. We launched our books, and of course you would see the equipment was being used, the computer, the projector, the PA system. The computers were utilized to write the 2 books. We were also able to use the computers to upgrade our website, and what we would adhere to it at no additional cost. So we use the computers given and internet access to create and launch our Android application to help Tobago, Trinidad, and by extension the world to keep abreast of the activities. Roughly 6,000 or more community members with diabetes or at risk of diabetes gain knowledge and better understanding of diabetes prevention, control, and management. We believe that the use of the equipment has made people more aware of the possibilities that the use of the internet and other ICTs can bring to their communities, personal lives, and economies. What we want to add on is a children's project, like taking the life of a child, children with diabetes, adding them to the program a little at a time, and working with them so they would live with it.
The Roxboro Culinary Arts project team wanted the opportunity for their community to live rural but experience global, as every day the world is brought closer to their community with the touch of a button.
This project, which sought in developing computer literacy training for students, and of course to use to the wider community. And clearly what we found in the community, that there were a lot of children who had the laptops but was not able to utilize them to the fullest. Not only did we stop there, is that we focus our attention as well throughout the year in doing training for other persons in the community. And hence the reason where we will utilize the Elderly Activity Center at Roxboro in providing training from since then until now for the elders.
Knowledge is power, and I was interested, and once you're alive, you need to learn more. You don't give up on learning until they put you in the grave. So I grasped the opportunity and I came on board and I'm enjoying it.
We have had people in the 80s who are computer literate and can go online and read their email.
It is very beneficial, you know, and you have to get involved with the times, otherwise you'll be left behind. And I certainly don't want to be left behind. I'm going with the flow.
We have had success thus far in students who are now able to pass on, go on to secondary school and have mastered the program. I would love to work with a program where we can now think about dialing a teacher. Perhaps students who are having difficulty at home, whether we can take the project to a next level, whereby those children who are having difficulties perhaps with their homework or stuff like that, we can have an area where we employ some facilitators here in the day and they're able to dial into the center and the students could be helped right from the site.
The Roxboro Revival Center is not only a place of worship, but also a place for information and communication technology, where students and members of the community are taught computer literacy.
Students from different levels, primary schools, secondary schools, there was a problem of having computers to do their homework, to do research, additional assistance for work that they have in school and to learn more. And they were approaching me and asking me do you have classes, we need help and so on. And the resource wasn't available, so when the resource came, I was like, okay, yeah, that's really good. And when we were able to, when we started with it, they hit the ground running with it. We were able to purchase 7 computers, 7 desktops, and 1 laptop. For the students who are in school, when they're in school, you have a limited time to do a particular subject and do research and so on. So having that extra time on the outside and seeing them finishing and them saying, Miss, thank you so much, that is like, yay, I am doing something, I'm a superhero. And since the program, there's been so much students who were successful. All the students that I taught since I started using it up until now, all of them were successful. For the IT students, got 2s and 1s, yay. And for the other people, they were able to get a job in the ICT area and they know the little things like spreadsheet, database, and so on. I would like to see more adults being involved. I would like to see more for the primary and secondary school students. If we can have probably a larger center where we can actually section it off. Those who go on to be better or become a teacher as myself, they're able to come and give back to the center.